I am Nekron916, aka Gene Barron, aka Gloopor the Great.
What's Gloopor the Great?
That's my that's my alter ego. My alien alter ego. I made it up when I was playing Knights of the Old Republic for Xbox. There was a character in there called Gloopor, and if you know that game, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then Gloopor the Great.
So let's get to the music part of things. What projects are you working on right now?
Right now, I just finished mixing a Mind Inscription album, which is me and Solaris5. That is our 9th project we've done together. It's called Decoder Concepts. It's a mixture of a lot of different music genres we love listening to. There's a lot of harmony, singing, hip-hop, rap, experimental, fusion, live instruments, electronic, just a mix of stuff. Another thing I just finished mixing is a solo project of my own stuff called Nekron916, based on the Super Nintendo video game Chrono Trigger, based on the fact that I took old songs that I've done from 2001 through 2008 and pretty much put them in a sequence where it's jumping time frames. Basically, the story of the video game Chrono Trigger is a group of characters jump from different time intervals and try to change the end result by stopping a catastrophe. And meaning, I took different time frames of my track history and put them together to sort of make that same sequence happen of jumping through time to stop, you know, this catastrophe within myself. As far as I kind of haven't done anything by myself in a while, and I've had time recently to put those things together, so I finally had a chance to put, you know, some things that I've done in the past along with a couple of new things that I've been working on, along with instrumentals and some beats that I've been working on.
What influences go into, well, these projects that you've been working on recently?
Everything from music to movies. Obviously, especially music. I listen to a lot of music, and I do mean a lot. I listen to something probably new, something new every day, as far as album wise. But of course, there's about maybe 5 to 10 groups that I will always listen to at least once a week, that I have to listen to.
What are your top 5?
Easily John Frusciante, Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Mars Volta, right now John Zorn, Rob Mazurek, and pretty much those people right now are my top influences. I have to listen to something that they've done, whether it's old or new, just to like keep me, I guess, focused, because I'm constantly listening to so much. Like, even stuff, I'll listen to it just once, and like I may not even like it all the way. It's just the fact that, like, to me, I'm just sort of like, I have to process different kinds of music in order to reinterpret it through my style and variations of it. So constantly listening to music. Movies always influence me. Definitely the top movies. Big Star Wars fan, big Lord of the Rings fan, became a big Godfather fan. Those movies, I can see them over and over, and I find something new in them, and I've often, especially with Star Wars and the Lord of the Rings, I have always taken something from a scene, or even made like a beat, or like even a verse inspired by a character or a scene from that movie. And
you've sampled.
yeah, I've sampled those movies, made beats with samples. So pretty much those two things are my biggest influence on the way, most of the time, that the music goes. Sometimes I could just do something out of the blue, and it'll just come from from inside. It'll just come from the heart. But most of the time I do have a very specific idea based on something I've heard during the day or the week, or from a movie or something that I've seen.
What would you say that your genre is? Your musical genre?
It's kind of hard to explain, but I guess to sum it all up, I would say I would like to categorize myself as a experimental, progressive, and hip hop all in one, because I try to do music that's different and that's not in a genre, because I listen to so much jazz and artists that are pushing the boundaries of music and that don't want to be categorized. So I try to follow that line, but at the same time I grew up listening to a lot of hip hop in the early 90s, which was basically underground hip hop, which was pretty much experimental in its own right, but it did have structure. So at times I do structure myself around that, but it's funny because I try not to be hip hop as possible. And I think I once heard Outkast say that one of their albums was the most unhip hop, and I kind of see that as like the way I look at my hip hop is I try to be the most unhip hop, because I don't know, I don't know, I don't want to say I grew away from it, but like I just don't like being categorized as hip hop, because I'm so much more into other music that feels me more than hip hop. But I can't deny it, because me using my voice, I am rapping, so I mean it's going to be hip hop. But when I try to do different things with my voice, it can be harmony and singing as well.
Well, let's talk about your musical history. How did you get involved into music making? How were you introduced to music?
The earliest I can recall, my first wanting to do music, I remember first hearing NWA, and I was really like just floored at the time. And I mean, I was a little kid, and I mean, I wanted that tape. My cousin had it. I actually borrowed it from him and listened to it like in secret, because my parents would have got mad that I had a tape that cussed so much. I mean, it was straight out of Compton. It's like, no parent would want their little kid 4th grade listening to Straight Outta Compton. So I was really wanting to, like, I was mesmerized by like, the sound and the energy. And I remember too at the time, like, I was really into like LL Cool J and the Beastie Boys. But as soon as I was old enough to actually do music, I had it around me. My dad was in a band. I remember like seeing their rehearsals and seeing live instruments all around me all the time. So it was sort of already being processed in my head what it was like to be a musician, and I kind of always wanted to do that. So I think what made me get into music was by